I play competitive tactical shooter games for a living. These require years of training, strong mental acuity, and a lack of a social life. What would happen if you took a nerdy gamer out of the basement and threw him head first into a real-life Marine combat exercise? They did that to me. This is what they did to me. Here's what happened. This video is sponsored by the United States Marine Corps. Over the last 4 months, I've been training physically and mentally to prepare myself for my final challenge at Marine Base Quantico. We were dragged out of bed at 3:30 in the morning to take a physical fitness test. Everything had led to this moment.
Complete dive hang. Ready, begin.
Oh, come on.
You got
I
it.
practiced it.
You got it, come on.
Oh, I did so much work. Come on. I did all that work. What am I doing wrong here? Gosh darn it.
That's all right.
Oh, I'm so frustrated. I don't get it. Yeah, I feel like I let myself down. I honestly feel like I let my viewers down with that. I don't get it. I'm in like shock and disbelief right now. It's like 4 months of doing that, and I failed.
As I watched the other gaming influencers easily do like 20 pull-ups, I looked back on my life's many, many failures and thought, yep, this one's the worst. But that's not the end of the story. Next up, planks, and I was pissed. I had trained for 4 months only to spectacularly fail in front of everyone. I told myself at that point, no matter what came next that day, I was going at it like an angry mama badger defending its young.
320.
I did the longest plank of any of the influencers, nearly doubling my time from 4 months ago, and everyone clapped. Next up, running. Now, I fell in love with running. It was what I felt most confident in. Now, I know from getting to know the other guys that this was the physical test that they were dreading, so I tried to give them encouragement as I ran past them. In the fitness part of this thing, we weren't competing with each other. We were competing with ourselves from 4 months ago. But I won. I got the fastest time again, and I greatly improved from 4 months ago. Something in my brain broke that day. My worst fears and insecurities all became realized. Failure, public embarrassment, body image issues. But instead of retreating and wallowing in self-pity and listening to that stupid voice in the back of my head that tells me I'm a loser, that nobody likes me, that I can't do it, he died out there on that pull-up bar. I'm what's left. I like what's left, and I was excited for the rest of the grand adventure I had embarked on.
So, it's real life. Sometimes you fail at some things. Sometimes you exceed what you even expected at others. But either way, you just gotta keep moving forward. Blank slate from this point out, whatever comes up next.
A lot of people, when they think about United States Marines, they think of running, pull-up bars, a lot of physicality. And at the end of the day, that's really just the price of entry, right? That's the pay to play. If you want to show up and you want to perform in our world and do what you need to do, not only do you have to be physically fit, but you have to be mentally fit, and you have to be able to make those decisions at a moment's notice, and you have to be right? The results for not making the right decision end up being a whole lot more serious than they do in a game.
Based on their physical fitness test from the very beginning, are you optimistic for them? What?
Nope. We had paid the price for entry. The real challenge was about to begin. But first, we had to dress the part. If it wasn't for that hat, I'd look pretty badass. Next, we split up into our 2 competing squads and met the Marines who would be our teammates for the next 3 days. Our opponents were Team Bravo, with Melanie Mack and Who's Chaos leading them. We were Alpha Team, and I couldn't have asked for a better teammate than Strange Rebel Gaming. You probably know her best as the voice of Aerith from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And there's like 5 million tadpoles here.
Childlike wonder.
I do. I love nature so much.
First, we learned how to kill some cardboard with an M4 carbine. I had never shot anything like this before. My shooting experience came from shotguns, pistols, and a little bolt-action 22 I shot at summer camp when I was a kid. The instructors were fantastic. In just one session, I felt comfortable shooting and manipulating the weapon. In one motion, raise the weapon into position, flip off the safety, finger on the trigger, sight on the target, and shoot, then shoot some more.
So we were supposed to shoot in this segment right here, but it looks like a few people decided, nah, I'm gonna go for headshots, which Yeah, not sure what happened there, but respect.
At the end of the session, we were given a shooting test to see how much we learned. We had to shoot 10 rounds at a target at 3 different distances within 3 different times, so recoil control was really important.
This is what happens when you practice your spray control, all right? I thought I did pretty well there, even with this insane wind.
Almost all of my shots were within the target area. I ended up with a score of 79. 80 was passing. Gosh darn it. They told me that that was very good for my first try, and I did do the best out of the other influencers. Everything we did that day, with the exception of the pull-ups, I was first, and Bree, my teammate, was right behind in second. Alpha team was looking strong, just not physically strong.
And you guys are Team Alpha.
Yes, Team Alpha.
So, makes sense.
You're Team Beta?
Whoa!
Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you. WarOwl's third law: if you can make a custom map, there is a Dust 2, even in real life.
Yeah. These are like not even rendered in yet, so.
Yeah, this looks like it looks like PUBG on console. Yeah. Like seriously, how does real life have worse graphics?
So yeah, we're about to go into the developmental part of the map. It's just the demo, actually.
Yeah, when we get closer, the textures will start loading, so this will look like a real city.
Day 2 was all about education. We were given a crash course in urban combat tactics. It was a lot of information to take in at once. Here are some things that I learned. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. You had to be deliberate in your actions. It wasn't all a preset specific way you had to move. It wasn't like it was a computer program. It was dynamic. Their movements had flow to them. The first man is always right. That meant that whoever was entering first knew more about what was in front of him than anybody else. The second person reacted to how the first person moved, filling in the gaps. Leadership was everyone's responsibility, regardless of rank. If you were in front and you had more information than someone behind you, even if they were higher ranked, you had to take leadership responsibilities. Clear, concise, effective communication was key. Even nonverbal communication, such as a simple tap on the shoulder to initiate an attack. The enemy can't hear you tap someone on the shoulder. I couldn't help but think of the tactics I practice every day in my silly little video game. I think it's disrespectful to compare real-world combat to a game. But there's a lot to be learned from what the greatest warriors in the world know. After our crash course, there was a demonstration.
Wide out! Wide out! Wide out! Wide out. Get fired! Get fired!
Then it was our turn. We were given M4s loaded with blanks and told to storm the building. We were then trained in the leadership position, calling out what to do. It became clear to me at that point what our final challenge was going to be. With just one training session at the range and just one day of urban combat tactics training, we were gonna take on the role of squad leader.
We're ready.
Talk real quick, just like together. Say, just talk about the day. Just say like.
So how about that
pretty psyched?
day?
Today.
Got here early again in the morning, and we're getting ready now for the final challenge. We're getting geared up. We've got some new equipment on us. It looks like we're going to be doing some kind of laser tag, but really advanced laser tag. So it's looking interesting. I've got sensors on me and stuff, and yeah, this is going to be quite an experience.
I was immediately thrust into the position of squad leader and given 4 pages of not very brief mission brief. After that, our squad was on our own. Our mission was to breach a compound and take out all the insurgents inside. I split us up into 2 squads, assault and support. I put myself in charge of assault, and I put Bree in charge of support. I made a mistake, and that was that I put support in a bad position. They didn't have a good angle on the 2nd-story balcony, so while we did get into the compound, we cleared the 1st floor. It was just me and 1 other Marine left as we charged up the stairs to our demise. One thing I did do right is min-max Aerith to be a ranged damage dealer, and I didn't get Aerith killed.
It was pretty good. He did a really good job putting together a plan in limited time, which is pretty realistic. Kind of fell apart a little bit when we ran in front of our own, and then we no longer had the ability to suppress. Got a little disaggregated. It fell apart, but all in all, it was a pretty good first. For having done that the first time, we did a pretty good job.
It was incredibly overwhelming to just be thrown into it like that, to be given all these paragraphs of maps and stuff and being told I need to breach this compound and being on the offense first, and it was, yeah. But we weren't done yet. We had one more chance on offense with Bree as our squad leader. She modified the plan based on my mistakes, and here's what happened. We won! I died immediately entering the compound, but our team achieved mission success. Now we were warmed up and now we were on defense. This is the compound that we were in charge of holding. If you notice, there are two separate buildings separated by two exterior walls with a courtyard. I designated this building as Little House and this building as Alamo. I walked around the compound, I looked for weaknesses. I saw 3 doorways that entered into the compound. This door was a fake door. Basically, it went into an empty room. So, I closed it and left it slightly open. If the enemy pushed forward and tried to open that door, they were in for a nasty surprise. I identified the northern door as the most likely area where the opponent would attack, because there was a very short run from one building to the next. I thought it would be really easy for them to just run across right here. So I went into Little House, I found a bed, I picked it up, and I barricaded that door shut. Here was the plan. I would put 2 Marines inside of Little House holding the northern side. All right, I just realized this is tough to understand. I hope this makes more sense. This is the second floor of Position Alamo. This is the first floor of Position Alamo. So you see the staircase comes up here, moves around here, and ends up into that position. I put 2 Marines on the first floor of Alamo, and then I put 3 Marines, that was me, here, on the second floor of Alamo. This Marine could go up this area onto the roof and have a rooftop angle. He could look at pretty much everything in the surrounding area, and he could call down to us, and we could relay the information all the way over to Little House so everybody knew what the heck was going on. This was the plan. I knew that the enemy was gonna move all the way around here, go into this building, push across here, and meet my roadblock. Then, I opened this window here on the left side. They would be forced to push into this area where we would have really clean shots on them as they entered into the window, the only other way into Little House. Once they started pushing, we called a retreat, not a retreat, a pullback of these 2 Marines back into the Alamo. That's why we called it the Alamo. The idea was to get them into Little House, and then as they took position inside of Little House and tried to push across through this door into the courtyard, boom, kill zone, right here. We would have tons and tons of vantage points from second floor, first floor, third floor. It was fantastic, and guess what, my friends? This is exactly how it went down. One of the differences between games and real life is that games are fair. In real life, your equipment isn't always gonna work. You're not always gonna fight on a warm, sunny day. And your enemy, who's trying to kill you, actually kill you, is not gonna wait for you to be ready. What I learned from this experience, or one of the things that I learned, is that you have to be fluid, you have to be adaptable, you have to train so that you're so good and so darn clever that you can put your opponent into an unfair situation. That's why I barricaded that door, and that's why Alpha Team achieved mission success.
I think it's pretty apparent how that one played out, with Alpha Group taking the win on that one with a well-prepared defensive engagement area within the actual buildings. Inside that, once you started to flow friendly forces into that engagement area, that well-planned engagement area with a couple little minor obstacles to hold you up, ultimately paid off for Alpha Group.
All right, we did it. We secured the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great job.
Yeah. Hey, battle's won. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, exactly. You guys are awesome. I learned a lot from you guys in these last few hours.
I was talking to one of the Marines, and she said something. They happened so quickly, I don't even think she remembers that she said it, but I was asking her why she does what she does, and she said, "That's why I would die for you and for this nation." And it really stuck with me. It took me a while. Later that night, it hit me. When you go up to somebody who serves, you always say, "Thank you for your service, thank you for your service." And
you understand on an intellectual level that they put themselves out there, they do all this work, they put themselves at risk for you and for your nation, but that was the first time I really felt it, you know? So I've been out here just 3 days, and we've just done some simple exercises, and almost to the point of a game, right? We're playing laser tag out there, but I get it now. I really do, so I'm getting a little emotional about it, but I understand that there's no greater love on this earth than to lay down your life and put yourself out there for your friends.
When you come back from a true adventure, you leave a part of yourself out there. I put myself way outside of my comfort zone and challenged myself in ways I never thought possible. I'm happy with what I left out there. All of us, including the Marines who were our teammates and mentors, were given a challenge coin by a Major General of the United States Marine Corps. It was an honor. Through this experience, I gained a deepened appreciation and respect for the men and women of the United States Marine Corps and the mental strength and tactical ability required to lead them.
Oh, very excited. Glad to be able to introduce somebody into the life that I love.
I was sincerely impressed with Melanie, Chaos, and my teammate Bree. I don't think we would have won if it was not for her. I hope to incorporate the principles of honor, commitment, and especially courage into my life and career going forward. Oh, and I still have no closer. Hoorah!
See? I can do it! What happened?